So we have a few fixes here and there. For example, if we now press one click, it actually takes it as 2 clicks. Another fix is, of course, the heart boxes don't vanish when you do a dodge and so on. So let's take care of all of this. First of all, let's do the easy stuff. Is on the dodge, on our animation, or the dash, however you're going to call it. Just disable the heart box like so, or like so, and re-enable it about here, I guess. Okay, let's remove this property. So this will give you invisibility frames just by simply because there is nothing to attack there. Awesome. So that's it for this one. Then we need to go on to our input handler. The reason why it takes it as 2 is because once we press the attack, it doesn't get removed until until we leave this. So we have to think if we want to be keeping the attacks as they are or not. But we definitely want to say if you do one click, then you do the attack. So let's see. So the thing is that when you are in here, once you're starting interacting, it will enable the can do combo, I guess. Or let's take a look at our animator. So we have attack 1. Oh, attack 1 never it does return if his combo is false or if his combo is true. Can enable combo, but let's also assign this combo to false once you are here. The same with all the rest. If that should do it, then well, it doesn't. It didn't. So let's take a look as to why then. Okay, so the moment we play, it actually enables his combo. I think that has to do with it. So let's take a look in there. That is combo. That's combo. Okay, so it's coming from here. So I was correct to just think of it like so, which means once we should be actually really clearing up the input frame. Okay, so let's see one thing. Input events, the input frame. We're getting the input frame from here. Just left input frame. Okay, so after we detect an action, we're going to be going and saying clear the frame. So that will mean attack equals false, jump equals false, and technically we should be doing left equals false, right equals false, up equals false, down equals false. This does left or does right, I think, also gets resetted, so it doesn't matter. So over here, let's do input frame dot clear frame. So it should be clean then. Let's test it out. And yeah, can still do the combo, but we now have more control as to when we are going to release the button. And you actually have to smash to do the combo. Awesome. So yeah, there's that. Now, oops, why am I locked? I'm locked because we are resetting the frame. On clear frame, yeah, we are resetting all this. So maybe just disable attack and okay, we can play normally. Come on. It starts to get a little bit rough when they attack all the time. It starts to get a little bit different. Anyway, so okay, there's that. Now, let's say I don't want to be watching the hitboxes or headbox all the time. So, on our headbox, we actually have one small mistake on our part, and that is because we are checking with on the damage collider, we are checking with get component in parent. That means you could be hitting the damage collision of somebody instead of their headbox. Okay, so we don't want to be doing this. We want to be adding a tag for the headbox. So in our tags, let's do actually grid manager we don't use anymore, so we can delete it. Let's say controller downloads. Okay, let's call this headbox. Okay, oops. And it can just be like this, and we do everything inside the damage collider. But let's also say void start, just to make sure that we are updating by default we are updating the folder, the layer to the head data. Okay, the same thing I'm going to do for the damage collider as well. Start game object layer equals 6. Then I'm going to be looking first for headbox on the same object that we're colliding with. So if headbox is null, then return. Okay, so headbox, let's add headbox, and then unfortunately on all the enemies we have to go and do the same thing. So we're going to delete all of the rest and just leave this one. Okay, and I think I've showcased the director already, so we should not worry about that. Also, let's put the AI director, let's put public bool, populate AI handlers, then on start, let's do clear and AI handlers equals get components in children AI handlers. Okay, so now I don't actually have to go and add them manually all the time. Oh, this is so bright. This looks much cleaner to my eyes. So there's our hitbox, and let's duplicate a few of these. Maybe these two guys can go a little bit below here. Generally, I'm going to tailor this later, like create an actual level. It's just for test. So on the AI director, let's tick populate AI handlers. Okay. Then I don't want to be seeing the hitbox anymore. All I have to do is go to my camera, and on the calling layer, which would be nice to know where it actually is. What's this? Oh, it's the 2D renderer, I guess. Rendering, calling mask. Just remove the hair data, and you won't be seeing it anymore. Okay, now of course it will be nice to have some shadows to this. So let's add some shadows. Now I think we need to have a shadow blob somewhere, and I think one of these has the shadow blob. Yeah, I don't know where it is. So I guess we're going to have to rip one of it. So hold on and let me go find some. So another way to do this will actually be right onto sprite sheet, but it's not going to be that dynamic. Of course, these are ripped sprites, so I'm not sure who actually, if they ripped it like this or if they ripped the actual sprite sheets and they got this. I'm not sure. So we'll do it our own way, and I'm going to find the biggest one I can find, which I think this one looks good enough. Let's copy that, and I'm going to make a new one. Report. Okay, so that's our shadow. Let's export this and put it inside Unity. So let's go. We have our shadow. Now, one thing, I'm just going to be scaling it. It might break a little bit the pixel perfect, but I don't actually care, to be honest. So what's the trick? First of all, I think I'm going to change the pivot to the center so I can scale it up and down without worrying about where it is. So I think we can just hook it up like this, but it will be even simpler if we just make a shadow utility. Shadow utility. Okay, and then we're going to have a transfer, or our own transfer actually, it doesn't matter. And let's do an update. The only thing that we have to be wary about is that when you're japping, your shadow of course should be getting smaller. So to do that, we're going to hook an event. So let's say target transform, not an event, and we're going to set up like min and max scale. So First of all, let's take our scale, transform the local scale, and we are talking in a uniform scale, so I think we should be doing scale vector3 dot lerp, not vector3 dot lerp, math f dot lerp, min scale to max scale, and all that based on the percentage. Now, what percentage that will be? If our object, if our shadow is here, so they are on the same level with this, when holder or the sprite renderer actually goes up, it should be going down. So I think from 0 to 1 we need the percentage from 0 to 1. Okay, let me think, something formulates now. And okay, so let's do float t equals 1 first of all. Just assign this, transform the local scale equals scale. Then we can just check, you know what, we'll do max scale to min scale. Oh, actually no, that was correct. No, max scale to min scale. Then target transform dot local position dot y can just work because it starts from 0, and when we are going up we should be getting a less of a shadow. Okay, let's try that, and we'll do shadow utility, and we'll add a sprite renderer, and we will add the shadow to this. We'll add the shadow layer, and we can add some opacity so that it doesn't look that bad. Okay, we just want them to be grounded. So minimum scale can be, maximum scale can be 1, minimum scale can be like 0.2 or something. Then the target, let's just assign the holder, and when we jump it should be scaling. Okay, so what's jumping? Okay, so when we are jumping we're actually moving the layer, so in this case it should be the sprite renderer then. Oops. Okay, well, that's an error, but why? Math f lerp, min scale, max scale, tier 1, and local position y is at 0, and then it's back at 0. So why is it an error? Why our shadow vanishes? Because okay, this Z doesn't do anything. So this can work as well. Max min scale. Well, we can always do if t is greater than 1, t equals 1. If, or well, mathf dot clamp 0 to 1 t. Can always do this as well. So that should probably make it work fine. Oh, yeah. We are multiplying our current scale. That's silly. We should just do vector 3, 1. Because that's the base. Okay, that's perfect. So now I don't really have to worry about my shadows. I can just plug them into whatever unit I have and they will scale up and down. So let's try our unit as well. Oh, actually, let's split the shadow scale into two cases. Max scale x1, x1. Okay. So let's do max scale. Okay. I think for Z we don't care, so let's do scale.x and let's do min scale x, max scale x, and let's do the same thing for y and y. Just so that we can make the bicycle or the motorcycle to have different shadow, so it's a little bit bigger. And if you have a bigger enemy, you can do it as well. So we'll just set this as max scale to 1 and 0.2, so it's uniform for this guy. And then we can simply check, well, duplicate this and put it underneath phase 1. I'm going to delete the first phase. I'm just going to keep the one we're working on because no need to update all of that every time. So shadow, drop the shadow, reset everything, and let's see. Oops, that's not the shadow. That's the shadow we want. Reset. I'll just keep 2 of them for now. I don't think we need any more, but I'm just going to change the sprite render layer to this one. Okay, let's try this out. Okay, there we go. We have our right. Now technically this will get a bit of a more shadow. Let's maybe do 0.1, and we can even go higher, but I think it's working fine. Technically, when he is on the ground, he should have gotten the biggest shadow of all, but doesn't matter. Small things like that. It's just a game after all. Awesome. So, you know what? I think fixes are enough for now. On the next part, let's try and fix the motor thug, and then we can basically, yeah, well, I think we can basically create a level then, and we can always keep adding, of course, and we can just see what we do next. So I'll see you on the next one.